He wonders how she would unfold under his touch, with his finger or a scalpel. She sits so coyly at the front of the class every day. Her fingers look delicious wrapped around a ballpoint pen. He informs her. Childhood is the miscarriage of fairy tales. Today's lesson will cover Sigmund Freud, one of his favorites. Sometimes he imagines her childhood. He believes that she was obedient then too. Perhaps she went to a summer camp. Miss Pettigrew, do you understand what I'm saying? She looks frightened. He bites his lip at the thought of her begging for his forgiveness. Please, sir, I'm sorry. What I mean to say is, where fairy tales fail, childhood begins. His words have no landing on these imbeciles, but not her. He glances at the frame on his desk, which brags of his family, his good little wife and he, and their son, cradled between their arms. A man with a child would never hover over girls leaving locked classrooms in the evenings or bathrooms in the night. He begins to shave. When the disinfectant hits his freshly cut pores, he sighs in relief. This reminds him of a time he spent with his mother, and how every day she would not let him through the threshold of the house until each skid of grass stain had been burned off his knees. He looks to the wipe, where he sees a smear of blood. He cut himself. Pity. He couldn't feel it. As the disinfectant dries, he quickly unrolls his sleeves, which cover a column of deep, faded hatch marks on his wrist. Each slit symbolized one of his little slip-ups. Each cut had a different name, a different story. There is space for a new cut, but he hopes he will not need to use it. He knows she is different. When he indulges in these fantasies, he makes mistakes. And mistakes get difficult to cover up. They do not make bandages large enough to hide missing people. Mother would be appalled. How angry she was when the neighbor's dog disappeared. She had cut the nails off his fingers and toes, right up to the stub that day, before his ammonia bath. He hears a knock at his door. Come in. It is not office hours.
I just had some questions about today's lecture, sir.
Sit. You may begin.
It's just that in today's lecture...
He grits his teeth. He hates contractions. It is, Miss Pettigrew.
Today in class you mentioned nihilistic excess. Is that Freud's?
Yes, Miss Pettigrew, it is. I mean to describe her generation as nihilistic excess. The lack of order is appalling. The apathy of structure. Only self-serving practices exist among many of you. And I teach to combat these heinous ideas. And no, Miss Pettigrew, the idea is mine.
So you mean to say we have no respect for higher authority? I thought you were anti-religion.
Miss Pettigrew, religion is for the weak and simple-minded. And I will not pretend like people you know.
Okay, I gotcha. Thank you.
Miss Pettigrew, did you go to summer camp as a child?
No, I never did. My parents had a house on the beach, so I spent my summers there. Why do you ask?
He was wrong. I see. She did not go to summer camp. He is never wrong. Maybe this is a mistake. It is not like being wrong. He assumes she sees the nail marks. He hates to cover them up. The day it got there, another mistake had waltzed into his office, practically begging to be saved. But he had been wrong about her too, and that little mistake had tried to escape. The situation must be corrected immediately. Miss Pettigrew, please stay. I'd love to get to know you more.
I really should get going.
He loved her. How could she betray him like this? Stay a while. I have so much to teach you, and you have so much to learn.